So I was late watching episode 8 of X-Men 97 because I was away. So I watched it yesterday morning, on Sunday morning. Then I needed the night and the morning and the afternoon to think about it, because there's a lot that went on in that episode called Tolerance is Extinction Part 1. And I have one question. Just one question. What is Professor X, this dude, what is he going to do? What is he going to do? They thought he was dead, then they learned that he's not. What he wasn't doing, he was up on a honeymoon that went bad, right? He left his X-Men, bequeathed them in his will to Magneto, his mate Eric, who's been his mate for years. And since we've been watching the original animated series, since we've been reading the comics, we have always known that Magneto did not have time for these human beings. He was of the mindset, he was of the view, of the very strong held opinion, you cannot trust these humans. You can't trust them. They don't like us, they don't want us, you can't trust them, right? And we always know that Professor X was the opposite. We know we need to work together, it's all kumbaya, don't write them off, Eric. We can be fine together. Turns out Magneto was right. We've had Genosha go up in flames. Gambit is dead, very dead, even though my dad is of the opinion that it will come back. Because, in his words, well, they buried Superman, didn't they? I can't argue with his logic. Anyway, Rogue is in a love-sick, love-grief coma. She's not waking up for a little while. Bastion's Prime Sentinels have been activated. Jubilee's gone with the other guy, I can't remember. It's all gone a little bit to hell. So, all of this has happened when Professor X has been off on his honeymoon gone bad. Now he's back. How much influence is he going to have over his X-Men? Because so much has happened. And as Valerie Cooper said, this woman here, who some thought was Mystique, we got another 2 episodes to go. She could still be Mystique. I don't know. But it's Valerie Cooper. She releases Magneto. She says Magneto was right. And we're all sitting there again, yeah, you know what, Magneto, he might have been right. You know what's brilliant about this episode? Magneto didn't say a word. He didn't say a word until the very end. He listened. They say silence can kill you. Silence was killing Bastion. Magneto didn't flinch. He didn't do a thing, but he was listening. And he was making plans in his head. Because my man went off in his underpants, off to the North Pole, tapped into that magnetism, and he did his thing across the globe. Which is why we saw Spider-Man and Omega Red and Polaris. We saw all that. But my point is, what is Professor X going to do? Magneto said, enough. You can't reason with this now. There is no reasoning. There is no level of understanding. Magneto said enough, which is why I asked the question, what is Professor X going to do? He's called his X-Men, but can he influence his X-Men? That's the question. But then, I can't not talk about the best scene in that whole episode 8. Wolverine. We've been waiting 7 episodes for Wolverine to do something. He's just been running his mouth for 7 episodes. Wolverine did something. When I saw him put his claws into the back of the Prime Sentinels, I was like, oh, and I write crime fiction. I write really gory stuff. I flinched. When he was falling from the sky, who knew where he was going to land? He probably didn't even know where he was going to land. And he was taking out Prime Sentinels with his claws. Epic. But even better, MVP, Nightcrawler, and the teleportation scenes. I'm not a fan. Well, I'm not a fan. I have a love-hate relationship with the X-Men movies. I do. Some I love, some I just hate. X2 has one of the best openings in a comic book ever. And that's when you see Nightcrawler coming into the White House to get to the president. Nightcrawler's teleportation scenes were on par. Actually, I'll say they surpassed that. They were exquisite. And especially when you saw the teleportation from the point of view of Wolverine. As a writer, I've said it before and I'll say it again. X-Men 97 is how you do storytelling. This is great storytelling. Great characterization. And I need you to tell me, what is Professor X going to do? Because I don't know.